Welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vay, Nerd Chuck, and this, my friends, is The Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program, and it is a glorious playoff beard, and it's intact, Mott. It is intact because my New York Jets, along with me in the crowd, rolled into Indianapolis and pulled out a huge victory against Peyton Manning and the Colts. Dominus, I am so sorry. My phone died at the game, so I wasn't able to see where you were after the game, but I apologize to all my Indy fans who wanted to meet up. I was very much in football mode, and Dominus, a longtime Vaniac and a great guy. I want to give you a big shout out. We got this one. You got the bigger one last year, so you can't be mad at me. And now we roll into Foxborough this weekend, with tomorrow being my nephew Max's birthday, his birthday party on Sunday, so I'm trying to make private plane arrangements. It's a whole mess, Mott. I'm trying to get to Foxborough. Looking forward to it. Big game against the Patriots. I do indeed hate the Patriots, and not their fans, but just them. And big game, and I'm fired up for it. I'm in a good mood. The Jets continue to make playoff runs, which makes this show fun. We've been good, Mott, during these years, and I'm excited. Did you watch the game? And were you rooting for the Jets?
I think Edwards got away with the push-off at the end.
Oh, Mott!
He did.
Mott, he's not going to do it. You're the only guy who's ever come up with that.
Kahuna came up with it, too.
Get out of here, Kahuna. Get out of here with the push-off. What about Dustin Keller being held twice before the half, and then we had to throw a pick because of it?
Oh, you could call holding on every play.
There was no push-off.
He pushed off.
Oh, God. So are you saying that, even though we have this tremendous relationship, that deep down, you still are not you do not root for the Jets in certain ways?
Oh, after we went to the Jets event?
Yep.
I hate them now with every fiber of my being.
Because they were so anti-Giant?
Yeah.
So prior to us going to the stadium and taping that show this summer, you were fine. Mm-hmm. But now, because there was like whispers and angst.
It was people in the organization.
Yes, I understand.
And
there's enormous,
I thought that was really, really bad.
Lowbrow. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Yep. But they weren't really busting your chops, Mott.
They shouldn't have been busting my chops at all.
But they were being kind of like a little friendly, fake busting chops.
Jets, I've noticed some Jets fans have this, it's like the Yankees and the Mets.
Yeah, for sure. There's some people who can claim they like both teams, like my friend Ari Turner, which I don't believe. And then there's, people like me. I mean, but it makes sense to me hating the Giants, but Giant fans not hating the Jets. Now, I'm on the other side of the equation with baseball, though I'm not quite the fan I used to be, where I never hated the Mets as a Yankee fan, but I truly understood and was fine with Met fans hating Yankees, because when you're the franchise that has more success, it makes sense.
Okay.
Now that I'm pissed at Mott and all you Patriot fans,
you got a good shot on Sunday.
We're going to get blown out.
You got to control the ball.
We got to run the ball every play.
You got to run it.
I want to run the ball. I want Mark Sanchez's stats to be 0. Here we go. 0 for 0. I want to run the ball on every play because we need to control the ball. Brady needs to have like 6 possessions the whole game. Manning had 2 possessions the whole game in the second half. Excuse me. Anyway, it was a good game though. It was entertaining. People have wanted me to nerd it up a little bit with Madeira and sherry for a while. These wines are from the small Portuguese island for Madeira and the southwest of Spain for sherry. Sorry, I'm still thinking football. I'm actually a little baffled, but you have some angst towards the Jets. This kind of inspires me, Mott. I'm getting motivated. And that's what we're going to do. We also have a little cheese. This little guy right here, Mott, look at this. This is a beautiful piece of cheese. I'll hold it up for you because I want people to see it. Actually, this is the side. Zoom in here. Breyerboos. And this is a wonderful cheese from Leon. Sheep's milk. Stands for red sheep. And a tremendous cheese that Justin picked out for me to go along with the sherries and the Madeira. So let's go into the sherries. This is a Pedro Ximenez style sherry. It's actually got written on it. This is a Steve Miles selection. 100% Pedro Ximenez, which is the grape varietal. Magnum Gourmet, as you guys have noticed, and I will continue this week. I went into the Wine Library TV forums and said, pick some wines for me to taste, some of the original Vaniacs. So Magnum Gourmet picked 2, and Dr. T picked 1. So I'm combining the 2 of them together. This is 93 points wine and spirits, $80 US. This is the 20-year-old Pedro Ximenez Tradicion. Now, did you see this, Ma? Did you see the way that poured? Sherry, southwest part of Spain, two main styles, pale and dry, and fino and dark and dry. The two major grapes are the Pedro ximenez that you're seeing right here, and on this one that we'll get to in a little bit, the Jerez, this is the palomino grape. So these are the two major varietals that we get here. Now this is Steve Miles Selections Pedro Ximenez Tradicion, 93 pointer. As you can see, really, zoom in here, you get really almost like brown-like characteristics on these sherries. And let's give it a sniffy sniff. So you get a really interesting kind of like butterscotch, caramel kind of thing going on. There's a little greenness here. These are all made from, they're all made from, white wine varietals. And they are fortified wines, so they get some liqueur poured in. Really great smell. This is aged in American barrels for 20 years. Great nose, big explosion of that caramel. You get the alcohol, really port-like if you've had that experience in the past. Let's give it a whirl. Coffee, taffy, very taffy. Very taffy-like on the flavor. This is super thick, dessert wine, sweet, but just a beautiful coffee, taffy, cocoa bean, coffee bean kind of thing going on in the finish. Little Starbucks Pete's coffee like on the finish there, Man, huh?
Yeah, it's very delicious.
You like this? Are you a coffee drinker?
I have 2 cups in the morning, that's it.
2 cups. So this does speak to you on that palate. Great kind of coffee, taffy, even a coconut kind of component. It's extremely delicious. I'm going to try this sheep's milk cheese, which is extraordinary. Great stuff. I mean, 80 bones. This is not an expensive wine. 20-year-old Pedro Ximenez, the grape, not the amazing pitcher. Just a beautiful dessert wine with a ton of complexity. It's almost like grinded up Starbucks, grinded up coffee bean, higher, Jamaica Blue, just really high quality coffee beans chopped up. Just a gorgeous attacking style of wine. Very viscous, very heavy. Just a huge viscosity on the Pedro Ximenez, and in hindsight, I was kind of so focused on the football. Maybe the last wine we should have tasted today instead of the first, but I'm going to clean it out with the cheese and move on. And let's do that. Hidalgo, Gobernardo, Ximenez, Emilio, and this is 100% Palomino, 92 points, Wine Spectator, $22 US, 200 cases imported, 20% alcohol by volume. Magnum Gourmet wanted me to taste this as well, and as you can see, this is a very different style. It is extremely clearer, thinner, much more in a wine style, as the last one was almost just goppy style. Little sniffy sniff. There's a little bit of nuttiness, the fortification kind of coming through. Little beautiful kind of oil and vinegar kind of component. Beautiful roasted nuts on the nose. Let's give it a whirl. Just a cleaner style, very crisp. Alcohol spikes quite a bit on this wine. And this is a very distinct style, and it's going to go very differently with the cheese. Where the last wine, I thought went really well, but the Pedro Ximenez, being a dessert wine style wine, overpowers it. This is more of a natural kind of pairing. So definitely a thinner approach. You still get that almond, walnut nuttiness coming through. Great long finish on this wine. Nice wine. The first wine, the Pedro Ximenez, putting the two sherries together, I would probably go 90 2 points on this. I think Wine and Spirits at 93 points is fine. On this guy, 92 Spectator, a little high for me. It's more like an 88 point kind of sherry. You know, it's solid. But the alcohol spikes a little bit high, and they're all high in alcohol. But this one doesn't kind of command enough flavor profile to offset some of it for me. There's a super time and place for these wines, and I'm a fan. And I think in general, people need to drink more sherry. And they're great with this kind of cheese and almonds and olives, and it's a lot of fun to taste them in different occasions. And I highly recommend people going out and trying more. Now let's move on to the Madeira. Madeira, if you don't know. This is the Rare Wine Company, Madeira, New York, Malmesa Reserve, 1905 by alcohol. This is a small island, Portuguese island off the coast, about 625 miles. These are fortified wines. Tinta Negra Mole is the real dominant grape. Really sought after wines. This wine rolls in at $41 US, 93 points. Wine enthusiast, you know. These wines are really incredible to me. I think, you know, Madeira, Rainforest Madeira, are not drank by anybody. Get the color right here. I just want people to get a scope of the color. So there's many ways to kind of fortify the wine, but the stufa is the real kind of style that most people in Madeira tend to like to do this, where you heat it for 130 degrees Fahrenheit. For a period of time, usually about 90 days or so, and that kind of creates a scenario of fortifying the wine. Now, this comes across really kind of earthy and gamey, at the same time with this really great caramel and taffy nose. Let's give it a whirl. Big fruit, great viscosity, heavier than the Hidalgo, and has a real great intensity. Man, this is really nice. Taste this. This is really nice. Tell me what you think of it. I mean, guys, this gets really serious. Madeira in general is really unknown, and it's not explored enough. And in general, I don't drink enough sherry or Madeira, but they're very interesting wines for people that like scotches and bourbons and things of that nature. These tend to be very popular wines. They have a really interesting balance because the alcohol contents are much higher. Dessert wines, there's a lot of people, cigar smokers, cheese lovers. I mean, now when I pair this with the Bridabos, it's amazing. Just the way to go. I mean, just a classic traditional pairing of fine sheep's milk cheese with a Madeira. This is old school. This is, 1700s, 1800s, 1900s in England. Cigars, men go in one room, women go in another room. You pop open a Madeira. Great style, great classic, puts hair on your chest kind of wine. Love it. This blows away the two sherries for me today. Though I can see how, I'm actually going to pour myself a little more. This is a 93-point wine. Great job. And let me tell you something. Zoom in one more time up. If you're able to find the Rare Wine Company Historic Series Madeira, this is the New York series. They have the New York kind of style, and there's some other ones, New Orleans, other places. These are just tremendous Madeira wines, and Madeira in general needs more attention. Again, if you want real, pay attention to how thick that is. I mean, that is like ungodly thick. This is the Pedro ximenez style. These get very taffy, very coffee, very viscous kind of styles. Can be quite expensive at times. 80 bones for this bottle. Thick. Great stuff. Interesting wines. Caramel, taffy, coffee. If you're chocolate, if you're a fan of like good old five and dimes and take away the sweet candies and you go that other style, these are the kind of wines that are going to really, really hit your palate. And I really do beg and hope that you do check out the wines of Madeira. Again, a small little island outside of Portugal, and of sherry, southwest part of Spain. Really interesting wines, well priced in the scheme of things because of the lack of the demand in the U.S. market. I want to leave with my thoughts and prayers for the people that are affected by the tragedy in Tucson. Just a story that captivated me. I don't know, I just really affected by it, and I just, as somebody who's out there, you think about those kind of things. Just really sad story, and I hope some good can be made of this awful tragedy. And in general, I just want to tell everybody that I'm so sorry that I missed the last couple of weeks. The blizzard and family vacations kind of threw us into an awkward schedule. I think a lot of people kind of commented and were dismayed, and I apologize. And I know I'm aware that I write business books and I have VaynerMedia and I speak and I do a lot of things. I'm stretched in, but my commitment to the audience is unwavered, and I continue to want to pump out wine shows, and I continue to think about how to evolve this and make it more interesting. And I've got some ideas. I think 2011 is going to be a fun, and I appreciate everybody who watched this. I hope they explore new things. That is the focus of Wine Library TV, to try new things, expand your palate. These certainly are wines that will, and I wish everybody a healthy and happy 2011, and for my New York Jets to make a Super Bowl run. So, question of the day. What is your favorite all-time cheese and wine pairing? What is your favorite cheese and wine pairing of all time? You, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not.